December exercise 14 start. Similarly, sir, you please look at the postal rates. I don't know if it is inadvertent. The inland letter hike is from paise 35 to 75 paise. Previously, for a 20-gram letter, I don't know whether he intended in that way or not. We had to pay rupees 1.15, but now a 20-gram letter will cost only a rupee. I don't know if he is consistent with his thinking. These days, people should be induced to write letters which do not weigh 10 gram but 20 gram. Packed letters for the beloved. It is true, sir. If he examines the hike in the postal rate, he will find that it is regressive, excepting for a fact for which he should be thanked. He showed his understanding. Let everybody in the house also understand by not raising the price of plain postcard. He should be congratulated for that. But for the rest, you have to see whether or not the hike is regressive. Once again, I would say that there are difficulties, but these difficulties are to be faced by surmounting other kind of difficulties in the taxation business. Why is it that you have reduced the corporation tax? Why did you not introduce the slabs? Regressive or full deductions are not allowed if you go to the backward areas or to the rural poor or for the charitable trust. I cannot imagine that the minister does not know about the charitable trusts. We have altogether said that these are instruments for tax evasion. Even today, they say that they are paying to the charitable trusts and deductions are made. The charitable trust's income is certainly taxed to a certain extent. Why could you not stiffen those and collect more? In the whole budget, the crucial thing is the containment of internal deficit and holding the price rise. If these two things can be done, the rest will follow. But for this, one has to mobilize resources. I would like to know what prevents you to surprise the difficulties of treating the family as unit for the purpose of income tax. What prevents you to take 10 more steps when you have already taken 2 steps? I discussed the expenditure tax. Practical difficulties were talked about. The practical difficulties are not non-surmountable difficulties that exist in the economy. That is leading us to an external debt as well as to an internal debt. So why is he hesitant to take this step also? There was a talk regarding a comprehensive return. We have all become fond of computers. We are having cray computers for weather forecasts and other natural calamities. Why not use them for forecasting the totals and also for having comprehensive tax returns? Why not computerize income tax, wealth tax, gift tax, corporation tax, and every other returns? You can also give identity cards numbers as you were suggesting identity card numbers in case of elections. You give identity cards for rich people and have a comprehensive tax return. Can you not surmount these difficulties? We have discussed with the previous government. I can tell this house that Mr. Rajiv Gandhi had also put me in the direct tax committee, despite my refusal. In all such committees, Mr. Jha was included. The only problem that was raised was practical difficulty. Are those practical difficulties greater than the practical difficulties which the earlier government had led the present finance minister into? That is the choice that the finance minister has to make. The deduction in corporation taxes are that. I have told about that. I am not happy about it, but I am for 50%. And then you reverse the regressive nature of the deduction. That way, I believe you can have much more. I have suggested in another context the holding of price line. I want to just mention the importance of holding the price line in one or two sentences. There are also talks about the hike in consumer price indices either of the working class or of the middle class or of the agricultural laborers. It is being continuously talked about in the countryside that organized laborers have their means to neutralize that price hike. A division, a cleavage one tries to generate within the countryside and the urban areas because they are organized enough to get back. In certain areas, for example, West Bengal, they are getting back. I therefore suggest hold to onto the price line. It is not very difficult. It has been my misfortune to see the difficulties of the finance minister. In fact, he has reduced the food subsidy by rupees 200 crores from the previous year's level. He has reduced the fertilizer subsidy from the previous year's level. This must be raised. I want him to respond by concentrating on these items.